Hey you guys, it's been a long time since I've done a toon overview for you, so I figure I'll do the whole kit and caboodle. And actually one thing that happened just today was that we had a server merge with Kabam23 and its, neighboring servers. There's tons of servers with us now, but so I thought I would throw in a world boss video with this toon overview. I'm sort of curious how much damage I'm going to deal, or how many skills I can even get in. So it's gonna be really quick. I used to on a busy day before on my server, I could usually get 2 skills in, maybe 2 skills in a rune, and now I'm wondering if I'm only gonna get 1 shot. So we'll see how it goes. Usually I just cast a brutality rune, so I just go brutality rune, then criminal trial and Hell's Requiem, and then for titans, I have the big celestial titan, which adds on a lot of damage, so I have that and the brute rune going, and then iron will to get into sylph mode if I am able to even do that. So we'll see how it goes. I have Thor equipped and everything, but yeah, just a little bit of world boss before I get into a toon overview and show what's going on here. Alright, go. Gotta get in fast. Please load quickly. Alright, brutality rune, celestial titan. Let's see. So I have damnation and cursed arrow going. I might only get 1 hit. Oh no, I can get 2. I can get 2. Maybe go into sylph mode. Oh, looky there. I think this is the highest damage. Oh, okay, it's not gonna happen. Alright, I got 2 hits in. I only got 24 million? What? How is that possible? Before, when I got 2 hits in, I would get 44 million. What on earth? It's literally the same exact combo as I had before, but I got a smaller chunk of the boss. That's very strange. Do I have the right skills on my Eudemons? Skills. Cursed arrow. Oops. I hope I didn't leave heals. No, we're fine here. Alright, well that's how it goes. Fewer people on, and apparently I get less stuff. So I used that exact same combo before, and I would get more, or a larger chunk of the boss. I think something's going on because the amount of damage that we end up dealing is way more than what the actual boss HP is, and they claim some sort of number limits or whatever on the boss HP, which is why we haven't had a larger world boss in who knows how long. But yeah, that's a little bit disappointing that my world boss income suddenly halved, even though I use the exact same combo. I usually only get those 2 skills in for world boss, and that is it. But anyway, let's get into a toon overview. So I'm just going to go through the tabs and everything, and this is the only way I can sort of make a bad attempt to be as thorough as possible. What I'm going to do is set up the way that I would for PvP, so my best sort of BR or whatever it might be. So this is what I usually do for PvP. Is I have my sub Eudemon is the knight with a shield and a rage steal. And then I have my Battle Oracle with the heals and damnation, and then I have Frigga on my own toon, and I also have Odin and Thor and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna go to system chat. We have, again, with the server merge, it's just everything sort of blowing up chat-wise and whatnot. So let's spare ourselves that. But yeah, so up to 2.44 million BR. That's somewhat affected by these dimensions. So I have 3 going at the moment and a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, I think the best I've gotten to is 4 complete dimensions these days. I've never in the last several months gotten to 5 complete dimensions the way that I used to, but at least as long as I keep up 3, my reduced res is solidly over 50,000, and most of these resistances are not going to be way over 50,000 for a lot of the other players. Some players will sacrifice a lot of resistance in one place case for, you know, tons of resistance, and another they'll have like 100k water resistance and then no wind resistance or something like that. Or very little wind resistance, and personally I don't really like that. I prefer to even them out. I think it resistance wise works out better, but yeah, so as long as my reduced res is over 50k, I think I perform a lot better in PvP situations, so that's where I like to keep things, at least among the top players. I know for other people, if you're competing at a lower BR sort of bracket, I know the game isn't necessarily bracketed strictly that way, but in general, you're just going to encounter people similar to your BR. What kind of, you know, battle protection you're going to need in those situations is maybe a little bit different. But for the people I compete against, that's how I feel about resistances lately. And yeah, so those resistances fluctuate my BR tremendously. I can be under 24 million. I think without those dimensions, I do drop under that. And then I think I could be close to 5 million if, 25 million if I did all of those dimensions and were, you know, more strict about that type of stuff. It's just too time consuming. But yeah, let's go through the tabs. Equipment-wise, I mean, we're all finished with this stuff. I remember the last time I showed this, somebody was like, you're missing one Holy Forge on one of your items. So that is done. They let me know, and I mean, I appreciate it. But so we're completely done with gear. As far as gems go, you know, I've gotten a lot of questions across the board. You know, a variety of people, it doesn't matter the BR, you know, some very low BR players ask me the same questions as the highest BR people who ask me questions of, you know, what kind of gems should I set up? Should I put block into my gear or not? So for me, I still keep 4 of these block and HP gems. I'm not sure I really love it, but I sort of just keep it in there anyway to keep my block solidly above the average penetration stat. Most people's penetration is not that good, and so as long as my block is somewhere above that, I feel like my block rate is probably going to be okay. From what I understand, you need a ridiculous amount of block to even make it work so, and in the process of getting a ton of block, you're going to give up an enormous amount of defense, and I just don't think that's that great. So I still have those 4 block gems in there, but I'm still iffy. I've thought about switching it over to PDEF and MDEF gems, like what I have over here and in my artifact and my Halidom. And so we went over resistances. So yeah, I keep 3 of each of these. I'm still at level 11 will crystals, so that hasn't changed. I don't think I'm anywhere even remotely close to making a level 12, so that's just on the back burner. Dragon Soul obviously is done. Tattoos are completely done, and so I have full intelligence. I have full tattoo engraving. This is sort of crazy, but at the same time, I was sacrificing a ton of my Outland stuff all into tattoo engraving stones. I didn't bother with smelting stones for a while because smelting stones were easier to get out of like cash events and recharges and whatever. And then there were some the Lunar New Year sales for the recharge. I mean the recharges for the Lunar New Year sales were ridiculous and gave a whole bunch of tattoo engraving stones. So I was able to get up to 3 of these complete. And I just chanced it. I didn't use any of these blessing costs. And then in flash sale there was a 1 Balin sale for tattoo engraving stones, and I just like sat there at reset and grabbed them, and then I got this one up I think up to full stars, but it was like a strength tattoo bonus or something like that, and I was like, do I really want to go through all of this? So I just sacked some Balins for it. I used, I think, 4,000 Balins on this, so that's a lot. I mean, even 20,000 is, 2,000 is a lot. But I think I used this blessing cost twice, and got this to go to intelligence. So now I can just leave it alone. I put in a ticket, I think already, about being able to lock these, because I know that some people were incredibly frustrated that either like there was some error when they were trying to upgrade these, or just whatever it might be. I think you should be able to lock these and not be able to lock it from yourself and obviously from potential intruders. But yeah, so the fact that you don't have a possible lock for this really makes me nervous. But yeah, so that's the tattoo stuff. I just go all intelligence. It's the most return BR wise. And I think in the upcoming patch there's going to be stuff where you can get a lot of the more defensive stats, and it's not as weighted towards the attack stats, which is probably a good thing. And so we'll see that in the upcoming patch stuff. What else? So medallion wise, I'm starting to chip away at this honor more, so I guess I can show the profile tab. I am up to, I'm actually over 3 million BR. I mean, not BR, over 3 million honor. Look at me go. Okay, that was not on my radar. I still have over 600,000 to go, but at least I'm sort of making my way toward that rank 7 medallion, which before that was not even, like, on my radar whatsoever. So that's good. And let's see here. Where do I want to? I'm at a loss for where I want to start things. I guess I can do these tabs. So we can do Sylphs. So we just still have my fully red Frigga. I really do like this passive, which is a 20% chance to restore 20% of max HP. That can really save me in a lot of fights, and it does proc pretty well. I don't think it's 20% of the time, but I think it's pretty good. And then this reduce awakening point decrease rate, it's good, but I feel like there are other places, like if I didn't have it, it might not be a huge deal. And then having the damage received decreases is good. This is the only passive where I'm like, maybe I should change it. I don't know. I could even consider, doing Blessed Electro, which is basically like this, but with a lower rate, and see if that's really good. I just heal a lot while I'm in Sylph mode. Not totally sure, but I've thought about trying it. And here's my Odin, also capped out, but my Divinity Souls and the Odin gears are not as good. And one thing that somebody wanted me to go over when I was talking about my Sylphs in this overview are which of these Divinity Souls I pick. And I used to think, you know what, I'm just going to put in both attack stats. It seems like both are sort of important. But I just wanted to, like, if I'm taking a clue from what the game seems to think is the best, they automatically put some extra points into intelligence here, which previously we could assign as we please, but they automatically put them in now, and they put them into intelligence for Frigga, and for Odin they put them into strength, and for Thor they also put them into strength. So I sort of take a cue from that, and I'm like, you know what, you probably only need to upgrade one of those attack stats. If I'm wrong, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, so here I do all of them like this, just with magical attack, HP, P-Def, and M-Def. And when you equip these to your kids and stuff, it's probably more helpful to have those defensive and HP stats than it is to have the attack ones. So I really don't mind if they're equipped on my kids without a ton of attack. And then for Odin, I actually have magical attack ones on here, so I lied. I didn't mean to do that, or at least it might have just been a reflex. Like, maybe I'm gonna switch this onto other gear, but if you see the refinements, they're all physical attack for Odin. So I don't think you need that magical attack there, so I should have changed that. Oh, and I did this on Thor. Okay, so one day I'm going to change this, but if on my most used Sylph, the one that I actually care about, I put what I think is probably how this game works. So for this gear, maybe it's just so that I can switch it around to any Sylph with ease. So these guys, I have physical attack and magical attack, but I don't think you need that. I think you can just build up physical attack on both of these and then work on the other stats. When it comes to dual stat Divinity Souls, I'm not totally sure what's the best way to go. I don't have those yet, so I mean, I guess I could make some with these, but I don't have enough level 11 Divinity Souls to justify that. I think if you're going to make the dual stat Divinity Souls, you should wait until they're level 12, because that's really the only thing that makes sense to me as far as those go. So yeah, don't make those at level 11, just wait until level 12. But yeah, those are the main Sylphs. I still have these guys, and potentially I think up in the upcoming patch it might be a little bit easier to make a merge Sylph. It's not like they're going to be super easy, but I think they might put some material in to make the merge Sylph a little bit more accessible, so we'll find out about that. I don't have the full details on it, so I don't want to make any promises, but I think it will be easier to make merge Sylphs. And the kids, mostly, I feel like actually The gear here, other than enchanting, this gold gear is pretty good. And then, yeah, so sockets, those are pretty good for the kid. Yeah, I put all sort of tanky stuff into the kid gear. I don't bother with attack. And skill-wise for PvP, I go like this. So I have my Centauria up to level 7. I've had that for a while. I upgraded Damnation to level 6, which is pretty nice. I'm thinking about getting Damnation to level 7 and potentially level 8. I'm not sure between Centauria and Damnation which one I want to go to level 8 first, but it's also really expensive to do that, so it's going to be a while. I'm getting close to being able to make a level 7 skill, getting close to 2,000 books, so I think that's what I'll do. The other ones I only have at level 5. And then War Emblem, yeah, I'm really close to maxing out resistances for this Battle Oracle. So this is really just my best, most worked up Eudemon. And after that, my Sacred Knight is much worse, but working on it. And I don't know if any of the other ones are built up that well. I guess my Wind Ranger would be the next best one. But after the Battle Oracle is just decked out, I'm gonna go after this Sacred Knight stuff. So the Battle Oracle is up to a level 11. I don't know if I'm going to push 12. I don't really think the last 2 levels are super critical, and they don't really let you, increase the level on the War Emblem or anything like that, so it's not that good. And then for the sub-Eudemons, I have my Sacred Knight, the highest, because that one is what I use for PvP. I actually didn't even feel like I needed to upgrade this one to 2 stars, but I just accidentally did that. So those are the sub-Euds. And let's see here, Titans, I have all the Titans, no problems there. Really, Titan Temple for stronger players is pretty easy, so it's pretty straightforward getting all of those. So that was my World Boss combo. And for Ares War, sometimes I do this Vengeful Titan at the beginning. I like a Time Titan. I don't like these this Iron Will Titan at the beginning anymore. I don't think that getting into Sylph mode is as big of an advantage as it used to be, and that's mostly because there's so many defensive Titans now. It used to just be this Guardian, but now there are like more options for defensive stuff. So in Ares War, I do something like this, or potentially something like that, to put a little bit of offense in there, or like this and move the Moon Titan like this. Something like that also works pretty well. Usually I use this Vengeful Titan or Moon Guardian to protect the kids at the beginning a little bit, but I don't think that's super necessary. And then just everyday stuff, I like to leave a Celestial Titan there at the beginning just because it's helpful for PvE things on server. So that's the Titans. Animate, I'm starting to, upgrade this cap and whatever, but it's not super important. I don't know. I clearly haven't done this in a while. And Energize, I go for the resistance reduction obviously first. I think that's the most important. And I just sort of, file a bunch of stuff in here. Obviously, don't do this all the time. I just gather up whatever from Titan Temple. And this guy, I must have gotten something from Voyage there, having 30 Ray Stones. But yeah, so I mean, this is just slow go. I don't think the bonuses to your resistances are so good here that it's worth pushing. So you just get what you can. And let's see here. Mounts, I have a lot of mounts. I do Rider's Box sometimes. Oh yeah, I spent a lot of Bound Balins on Rider's Box. Now I've sort of stopped because I think Rider's Box is just not as good as it used to be. So now I have 163 out of 232. So to me, I feel like the rate when I do this is just not as good as it used to be as far as like mounts that I don't have or chance of getting a mount that I don't have already. I feel like I got a lot of those. So I still, if I try this, I do get quite a few title mounts. So if you don't have a lot of title mounts, for sure, I think this is a place to put Bound Balins, because it has actually a much better rate of getting those title mounts than I thought it originally did. But yeah, so obviously there's a good chance of getting trash mounts there, but I did get a ton of title mounts, and that's been pretty good. So here I have a fully maxed out a magic mount training, and now I'm working on the gentle one. Actually doing pretty well here. It's higher than what I remembered, so I'm up to 105, and vicious, and okay, these ones I didn't build up at all. I guess I could do those a little, but so that's it for mounts. So here I have a lot of mount space for whips, which I actually like. I'd rather be in the position where I can just dump as many whips into this as I want during events, whereas I feel a little bit more constrained when I don't have space in my mount for whips. So that's not a big problem to me. That's, you know, obviously the top players tend to have so many whips and all of that stuff, but to me, I don't mind. And here for the Astrals, you know, it used to be I'd just be like, oh, Astrals, they're the same as always, but I've actually changed them up quite a bit, and obviously the Elevate system has changed things up quite a bit. So I think that deflection has sort of become irrelevant, even at a really high damage bonus. So like once you go into the 50% damage bonus, this will go up to a 75,000 deflect, like the max amount that it will deflect is 75,000, which isn't bad, but it's not particularly good either. And so I just think that 50k damage cap is really making this deflection not that great, or sort of irrelevant. And then the regeneration also has a 50,000 HP gain cap, so I really just don't think that those are as relevant when our HP stats are, you know, in the millions now, several million. And then as for BR Astrals, well, okay, so I took those out. I used to have less BR Astrals, so for now I keep the 2 penetration stats that I would want, and then I have block in here. I'm not totally sure about block. I'm also iffy about the HP. So this 33,000 is nice. Obviously, it would be less than that if it weren't level 4 and it didn't have the astral effects, but I'm just not sure that the HP is that good or the block is that good. I could put MDef in there, but I feel like I have a lot of MDef, so I'm sort of iffy about these 3. So HP, block, MDef, it could be any of those. Crit, I wouldn't put in there. We already have the crit from here, and I just don't think crit's that. It's sort of hard to figure out. Otherwise, for sure I have physical defense because I'm a mage. I'll take that anywhere I can get it. Magical attack, and then I still think that these orange astrals are very important. So obviously Goddess Blessing reduces damage. Determination for sure. Illusion, I really think has been effective lately. I noticed some really nice illusions in my last Ares War video. I was surprised. So obviously this rate is not 30%. That's total trash and just bogus. But even at a lower rate than 30%, it's still pretty helpful. And then Enhanced Guardian Angel, just reduce the chance of getting crit is important. So yeah, those are my astrals, and I think they work out just fine. As far as Elevate goes, I'm still working on physical defense, and just sort of picking away at those, but I first went for the magical attack ones. So that's about it for astrals. If I missed anything there, or you guys have questions about, you know, thinking about which ones to use, definitely just ask me in the comments. And skills, I mean, not really anything going on here. Talents, I did get a nice chunk of talents because I was lucky and got the like, I think at least total maybe 4,000 talent points out of, well, no. Oh no, I missed one of those sales, but I've gotten a lot of talent stones for only 1 Balin, is basically what I'm trying to get at. The flash sales are super nice, so getting a lot of smelt stones on the cheap, and talent, what are they called? Talent stones, so that's made upgrading these talents a bit easier. Before I was like, even if I have the bound Balins to get this, it's still pretty crazy. Like right now, okay, it's 51,800 Balins or 1,295. So if I am able to get those talent stones from flash sale, it's only 1,295 Balins compared to you know, what it could be with bound Balins. So I'm just waiting it out for those flash sales. Even if I miss them, I'll just chip away at that until I can max out these talents that way, because right now these Balin costs are too crazy to use. Even bound Balins, I think it's ridiculous. But yeah, so up to level 43 is pretty good. I just dump them into resistances for now, and influence and penetration. I mean, whatever. That's not that important. Runes have been maxed out for a while. Skills, the one huge change that I have done to where my skill points are is I put 5 points into Mana Miracle now. I used to think that Mana Miracle was sort of like the joke out of the mage skills, but now I think it's actually one of the most important passives that you can have, because there's so many like Titan buffs and too many buffs going on in the game these days that having something that has a chance to remove some buffs from your opponent is fantastic. So I think this passive is great. I think it's up there with these two, you know, chance to decrease awakening points and this passive shield. I think that this Death Curse one is actually not that great. I mean, it procs once in a while, but the noticeable amount of like damage that you deal when that's on is not that great. And I still keep a couple of points in Lightbringer. But yeah, those are the skills. I really don't go into the restoration setup at all. And what else? Archaeology, I guess. Well, I've been better about doing this a little bit, but I have like most of the stuff here. I don't know if it's worth showing archaeology. And then, of course, everybody wants to see the bags, so we'll do the bags. Right now in the vault, I got screwed really bad because I'm one of those people who would send everything to mail and store it all there. But I got really, really sick over December. And while I was sick, my mail expired, and I lost a bunch of stuff. And it was mostly a useless thing. It was like mostly just like level 1 clothing, and I have max clothing, so it's not a huge deal. It was a lot of like level 1 clothing, but I think I lost some Sepulchrum and some normal Mahra, and a whole bunch. Well, I mean, henna is not a huge deal, so most of it wasn't a big deal, but I was still like, oh god, I got burned pretty bad from that. A lot of temporary mounts in there and whatever, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try and be careful and not send as much stuff to mail, and really make sure that whatever I am sending is extra useless. So yeah, so my vault tends to be a bit more full lately because of that. But otherwise, you know, we got the usual setup for my bags. Here, I kept on making more of these, thinking that I was going to use them eventually, but every time that the Holy Forge event comes up, I'm like, I don't need anything from this event, and so I don't know, I haven't done the Holy Forge event because I don't need the event items from it, but I have a whole bunch of these extra pieces of armor thinking that I'm going to do the Holy Forge event and get a whole bunch of stuff from it. But yeah, anyway. Oh, I must have lost a bunch of forge stuff because I used to have, like, way more of these hammers and stoves and things. So now I just collect up these items to make this armor, but I've stopped actually synthesizing them because I was like, oh wait, I'm not actually using these. And what else? Here, I mean, just items upon items. Let's see here. Tattoo engraving stones, don't need that anymore. And these guys, this is just how I keep everything. Almost have enough Blood of Zeus to make that level 12 Oracle, and I'm not sure if it's totally worth it. Probably isn't, but I'm close to being able to do that. And again, Books of Wisdom, hoping for another 2,000 to up that damnation. And dimensions and things. Actually sort of low on cows because for a while I was dumping so much gold into maxing out those astral effects. So I actually lost a lot of gold there. But at least it's done. And what other tabs can we go through? I mean, that's most of the tune. I'm trying to remember if I had any requests for it to show anything in particular. I guess I can show, I'll show the rankings. I'll show my cross-server rankings. That was something I was going to do. I'm pretty sure that my guild does not do very well in Imperial War. My rank, none. Okay, so we're not even showing here. Let's see here. So I guess that's not a huge deal. And then Athena War, we're up to, I think we're actually showing in this. Oh yeah, there's Ellen. So Ellen a little bit ahead of me here. So we're 15th through, 18th for my team in Athena War, so we do pretty well there. I've had trouble sort of getting a good recording of that because I feel like it's very choppy, whether I'm either like dual boxing Ellen and myself for that, or and we're in different fights, which makes it more awkward, or just like getting sort of like trash fights where they're super easy because like we gotta buy, or whatever it might be. I just feel like the videos for Athena War never turn out as well as I was hoping they would. So I haven't shown that yet, and then Ares War I've shown relatively recently. I'm at rank 9, so that's pretty good all things considered, and so I've been pretty pleased with those events. Oh, and Venus Battle. Let's see. There's Ellen and myself. Ellen is wearing this banquet outfit, which I think one of my guildies was saying was glitching some stuff in the game. So you guys might want to avoid this outfit until they get things sorted out, because I feel like we had a bunch of people who, if they had somebody in their group with that outfit on, there would be a lot of like stalls, and like, you know, the person would disconnect or anything. So if you do multiplayer dungeons with that outfit, it seems to be there's some problems. Or potential problems. Oh, I didn't mean to go into the shop. Go into the rankings. And so we're 144. Oh, that's because I missed last week. Okay. Well, we've been as high as Diamond Group, actually. So that's that. And then I thought I would show the rankings. But again, today, I was going to show all this stuff. We actually just recently got a server merge. Well, just today. So I can show you guys. Well, I can't. Am I ranked cross server? Yeah, cross server. Oh, okay. For the people who aren't familiar with my cross server section, I can show you Queenie Bee, who's the top archer. She is crazy powerful, almost 2.8 million physical attack, which is totally outrageous. And most of these guys have like well over 50 level 50 smelt equipment. And Trinity. Oh, come on. Yeah, also 57. I think these guys must just get like every single smelting stone that they can, like every single event. I think that's what it takes to be at that high of a smelt equipment at the moment. For myself, let me see here. I'm up to level, I think 42. Oh yeah, it's right here. So level 42, that's very nice. Gem effects, my fate's all done. I forgot to show this stuff. Clothing is still maxed out. I mean, that's not going anywhere. I think that's why I forgot to show all of that stuff. The level 10 ring, I was like, well, I can start upgrading it. I'm not really sure. I mean, I've seen the upper level rings. It goes all the way up to, I think, level 29. Level 29 or 27, something like that. So, yeah, I'm not sure if these are ever going to become useful, but I didn't really have anything better to do with the stuff from Venus Battle, so I was like, well, maybe we'll just do this. Alright, so back to the rankings. So, and then Zardoz. So, I guess we actually, among the top 3, we have one person from each of the classes. Zard actually has up to 58. I think B was saying somebody had as high as level 60 smelt equipment, which just seems outrageous to me. But magical attack, yeah, so everybody super strong. Was it? I think she might have said New Zealand has it. Oh yeah, level 60. Wow, that's crazy. All these people. Whew. Again, I'm not great about looking at the rankings because whenever I do, I'm like, holy crap! Wow, have times changed? Once upon a time, I was able to get into TOK Nightmare. There once upon a time. So you know, things have changed. Let's see here. 54. Okay, somebody in the top 10 with level 54 smelt equipment. Alvin. We've seen him in PvP quite a bit. Oh, Alvin up here with only 50. So I think the big place where they get a ton of BR is actually through mounts. Yeah, that's a lot of mounts, and they must have a ton of whips. Like they fill out the whips in those. And the like magic mount training, getting all of those probably helps because their strength and things are much higher than mine. But yeah, I mean we can just Domenico and all of them. Let's see here. Also, Ray is still. I swear I've not seen Ray 7 in a PvP event in an age, and yet she has this fancy medallion and everything. There's Ray. And where am I? I'm somewhere in the mix. Not yet. Still no? Anywhere? Oh, I should be higher up. 24 something. Where's Elia? I feel like I've been switching between Elia and Elia a lot lately. Like, both of them appear in my head when I say that name. When I originally had written it out, when I was just, like, creating it for whatever, for gaming, I was like, oh, Elia. Everybody will call me Elia or Elia. And then, as we went on chats and stuff, and, like, voice chats, everybody just called me either Eli or Elia. And so then, like, as, like, somebody else says it back to you enough times, it actually sticks, and that's the only reason why I have some sort of dual pronunciation for my game handle. So what did I want to... Oh, yeah, and the other funny one that was... I can't see the player strength for my current server right now because we merged today, and so nothing is showing up. But if I go to battle rating for some reason, the BRs do show up. Battle rating is calculated a little bit differently. I think it includes like a couple Sylph BRs or whatever it is. All the BRs seem like 1 million, a little bit higher than they're supposed to be. So yeah, I found it funny because like Grimace is from my server, or from, you know, Kabam 18, so the server I was on before. And so before we combined, so we see the rank, the number 1 ranked people from each server. So yeah, there's a huge gap between Tidius and Grim, and that goes all the way down. Like, this is like Slayer is from my server, and then Beautiful Bot is the next highest from the server we combined with, Hottie from mine, and Gwendola from the other one. And so you just go down across the board. The person from their server is way higher BR. My buddy Shay is actually the 5th highest BR from that server, and I'm the 5th highest BR from the server I was on before we combined, and he has 2.5 million more BR than I do. So I was going through that and finding it a little bit comical. So I figured, I was like, maybe I should wait until tomorrow to show everything so the rankings make more sense. But I think it's actually funnier just to have like a record of how we paired up against the server we just merged with. Like, it keeps on going and going and going. You're gonna have like 13 pages of this, and in every single case, we have the lower BR player, which, you know, I'm from an older server. We're Kabam 18, 21... 18, 21, I think it's like 40, and 60 and 68 or something like that. So we have some younger servers on there, but we still have some of the oldest servers, and yet like way more powerful from the other servers. So they just had bigger cachers, but it's anyway, that's how we pair up against our server mates now. And anyway, just, I guess, sort of getting a feel for everything. There are so few... Actually, there's absolutely nothing in server that requires any sort of, like, guild competition. So I'm not really sure, you know, if it's that big of a deal having a server merge or not. I guess it leaves some potential for Imperial War, which is, like, the dumbest event that Wartune has come up with in a while. So I don't think that's... I mean, that is what it is. But as far as the tune goes, I've been pretty happy lately with stuff. You know, it is a struggle in some of the PvP against some of the top players. At the same time, I've gotten some pretty good wins, especially in the last Ares War. I feel like with Ares War, with those extra skills and everything, I do have a chance to get some good wins against players who are way stronger than I am. We saw in the rankings, you know, they're up past 30 million BR, and I can still, you know, steal a win here or there. Obviously, on average, and in more normal situations, they're going to win the vast majority of fights, but there are still ways for me to sneak in a win or two, even with a BR that's much lower, like obvious stat disadvantage. So anyway, that's Elyatan as she stands. And of course, if you guys are curious about anything else with the toon, go ahead and ask, or I can screenshot something if I missed something, or show it in the next overview. If you guys have questions about anything in particular in the game, want something showed or whatever it might be, let me know and I'll see if I can sort of make up a little guide for it. So thanks for watching, you guys. Take care and have a very good day.